Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ringside Regression. We're back to our normal uh, upload schedule, and the playoffs have started. We are, what, 3 days when this episode comes out into the playoffs? We're recording this on Monday, so we haven't seen the games on Monday yet. But uh, so far, what are your kind of first impressions on the playoffs through the first 2 days?
It's been super exciting. I think we've seen with all the games, they've started very tight checking, not a lot of
Yeah.
scoring in the first half, and then the games have kind of exploded as they've went on, which I thought was kind of
Mhm.
cool. All I have to say is right now, the 5 games that have been played, all 5 teams that I have winning the series have won the first game. So the bracket is looking very good as of day 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. However, that could be subject to change by the time this is out. So knock on
Yeah.
wood that hopefully my bracket doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah. My bracket's not looking as good, but a couple of my series are in good spots right now, so that's good. Hopefully, St. Louis and Ottawa can help me out. But overall, like the games have been fine. Nothing too crazy. There hasn't been any crazy like triple overtime games yet. Um, we're usually due for one of those at some point in the first round, so uh, maybe it'll be tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, that's crazy. We didn't even have an overtime game yet.
Yeah, I know. It's like usually there's like one triple overtime, right? Like per playoffs. I think like I feel like that's a pretty accurate number that I'm putting out there.
And I think this is the first
So
playoffs in a couple of years where I think I'm more excited for the first round just to be done and to see some of these teams play in the second and third and final round. Like I'm not as excited as most of the first round matches. There's like select few that are an exemption to
yeah,
that rule, like the Tampa series, but I'm just really excited to see like some of the winners of these rounds play each other.
yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, especially if we get like Winnipeg, Colorado, or yeah, Winnipeg, Colorado in round two, or like Edmonton, Vegas, or LA, Vegas. Um, those will be fun, and then maybe like Toronto, Tampa. Like those are series that are really the heavy hitters. So that'll be fun. But again, we have to get there first. So maybe none of those teams will make it to the second round, and we won't get any
Yeah,
of those. But
we getting on.
uh, today we're going to touch on two more of the eliminated teams and go through kind of what we think their offseason should look like and what would be a successful offseason for them. And it's going to be the East. I think this is the first two teams in the East that we've covered. Um,
Yeah.
pretty sure, yeah,
Hmm.
because we did Seattle, Nashville, Chicago, and San Jose. So we're going over to the East for today's episode, and we're starting with the Philadelphia Flyers. First of all, what were kind of your overall thoughts on Philly's season this year?
Again, to start the year, the expectations were exceedingly they were exceeding expectations rather to start the year and looked pretty good and were hanging around that playoff bubble for a little bit there. They had some nice 6, 7 game win streak, and then things kind of hit them like a brick wall and they started to regress again. Eventually, towards the end of the season, they get rid of John Tortorella. Not very active at the trade deadline either because there really wasn't much to do. But outside the one trade, which was like a month prior, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit. But
Well, that is Scott Lawton trade.
that as well, yeah, good to see
Yeah.
them sell off. But outside of that, there really wasn't
Yeah.
too much. I think they could have done maybe a little more outside of Scott Lawton, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you definitely saw once Tortorella was out of there, guys like Mitchkov really were let loose, and I think that was really good for them. Um, I think we kind of talked about it a couple weeks ago when Tortorella was fired. That like I want to see them bring in like a more offensive minded coach just to kind of let the reins off these young players a little bit. Like Cam York was another player who had a really strong season, I thought, and then just started getting benched, and that kind of took down the last half of the last bit of his season. Um, so I really hope. I think the biggest thing for me going into this offseason is to find a coach that's going to be able to let the young players on this team uh, shine. And if they can do that, then that's kind of a successful offseason for me. Because like realistically, I don't think there's a path for the Flyers to be a playoff team next year unless they get crazy progression from a bunch of people. I just think there's too many holes on this roster. Although I said the same thing about the Canadians last summer, and I mean, look what happened there. So anything's possible, but like realistically, I think it's gonna be another like bottom of the East season for the Flyers next season. But I think the biggest thing is just allowing the young kids on this team to an opportunity to flourish. And I don't think they're going to get that under Tortorella. And like I said in that podcast a couple weeks ago, I hope they bring in somebody that's going to allow them to do that. But that's kind of my biggest thing for this team. I don't think this is really a disappointing season for them. It was kind of just what I expected out of Philly.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to just start with their forward core, they have a couple really nice pieces here. Obviously, you have the big one in Matvey Michkov, who looked very good as a rookie, especially once Terrell was fired, like you said. They even have guys like Owen Tippett, Travis Konechny, who are entering their prime of their careers. And then they even have a few upcoming guys. You look at Bobby Brink, Tyson Forrester, all really solid pieces that have either reached 20 goals or already near that 20 goal mark. And that's playing for Tortorella. Could you imagine they bring in some more offensive talent up front in the coaching department? And then even you have those depth guys too, like Noah Cates, Ryan Paley, who have really found a home here in Philly and have been really impactful bottom six players as well. So pretty good forward core, but there is still a lot of work to be done, which I'm sure we'll get into right now.
Yeah, I guess just kind of like first of all, touching on the forward core, like is there anybody specific that you would want to see this team target? Because like for me, I'm kind of okay with just almost just running it back. Like unless you can go and get yourself like maybe a young like 24, 25 year old um somewhere for cheap, go do that. But like if I'm Philly, I don't really want to move out a ton of assets. I like the direction this team is in right now. I just think they need another year of maturing before they're like big players and trying to acquire talent. So for me, I'm kind of okay just running it back basically. With this team, like get the guys re-signed, get Noah Cates re-signed, Tyson Forrester too, Jacob Peltier, I guess if you want to give him another year, you can do that. But other than that, like I'm not big on this forward core bringing in like any major pieces. I don't know if you kind of feel the same way, but I'm okay just
No,
running it back.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on the forward core. And I think the only thing I'd really look for would be a young centerman because you really only have Sean Couturier now that you got rid of Scott Lawton. And if you think about it, their wingers are really set in hindsight, right? You have Matvey Michkov, Owen Tippett, and Travis Konechny. Those are three of your four top six wingers right there. That's a pretty solid group if you ask me. Owen Tippett has a ton of goal scoring potential. Matvey Michkov's only going to get better. And I think it's kind of similar to the Canadian situation, like you said, where I think this team just needs that big jump in development up front, and that's really all they're missing. I kind of like some of their bottom six pieces. You can run back players like Peltier, Palig, Tyson Forrester too as well. They don't really need to be aggressive and start giving up assets. They have six picks in the first two rounds this draft for 25, and they have five first round picks for the next 3 years from 25 to 27. So they're in a good spot with Danny Briere. I'd say just mainly stay on course. If you can find that center now, then maybe bring him in now and have him start progressing under a head coach and get familiar with the locker room. More of a maybe a personal project, but that would be it for me, really up front.
Yeah, I mean you can even find like a center in the draft this year. Like there's enough uh talent in like the top, like where Philly's gonna be picking, that they could probably get themselves um kind of that number two center of the future, and then hope Couturier can be there for the next couple of years, or whoever you draft does end up progressing to be a number one. Um, I guess the only thing that I would say is maybe you kind of want to shore up the fourth line a little bit. I'm not a huge Delorier fan. I'm not a huge Hathaway fan. They're fine, but maybe you want to get another, maybe like a better upgrade for the fourth line. But other than that, like don't go out and spend a ton of money this summer. The forward core is fine. Like you said, the wingers are pretty solid. Getting that top six center is important, but you can do that in the draft. And then maybe you just sign like a stopgap for like a 2 or 3 year deal. You can go get like not like specifically this player, but you can go get like a Ryan O'Reilly type where you just sign a veteran for like 2 or 3 years and just have him in the organization. I don't think that's like necessarily a bad idea, but other than that, like I wouldn't be spending a ton of money. Maybe they go after like a Kirby Doc. Maybe they take a shot on that.
And even with the
That's
absence of
like, yeah,
Yeah. And even with the absence of Torch too, I think we're gonna see them move away from that player archetype like the Deloriers and Hathaways of the world as well.
yeah.
Like I don't think these guys will be on the team in a year or two. So for now they're fine, but I think once they start to compete with this core and build it up, I think we'll see those guys out the door.
Yeah, I agree. So moving on to the blue line for this team. Again, like I don't think it's a bad unit. I mean, you have Sealer, Sandheim, Drysdale, and York as kind of your top four. I don't hate that going into next season. It's not good, but like it's not awful. Give York another year of development. Again, hopefully in a system where he can be given a bit more freedom. Maybe Jamie Drysdale kind of has that jump that we've all been waiting for. But again, I think it's a lot of let's see what happens. And obviously you have, Rasmus or Shalina down there who's there, I guess. He had moments of not looking awful this year, so I'll give him that. But like overall, I don't want to spend a ton of money here. This is kind of one of the first teams that we're hitting here where I'm just kind of okay just kind of running this unit back, see what you have in some of your younger players, and then you can kind of make those executive decisions next summer. And that's kind of how I am with this with team in general. Maybe you go get yourself a goalie, because I don't think Samuel Larson is the guy. But bring in a fringe starter goalie, and you can kind of run a more solid tandem. That would kind of be my only thing. Like that's where I would spend money this summer. Sign a goalie to like a 3-year deal. But other than that,
Yeah.
like maybe bring in a bottom pair defenseman. But I'm not
Yeah.
really looking to spend a ton of money here.
And I don't even know if you need that bottom pair defenseman because I'd like to see a guy like Emil Andre play who is a really
That's true.
shifty young
Yeah,
defenseman. So I think it'd be nice to see him get some time, especially if they do go for that more offensive coach.
that's true.
And I think this is the year they move off Ristolainen. Just looking at his contract trajectory, he's going to have
Yeah,
2 years left after this year. So I think now we're seeing teams go out and acquire that deal, so they get him for the following year after, and they're not just a pure rental. So I think
for
Philly
sure.
will probably eat some of that Ristolainen contract if they can. I believe they can.
I
I don't
believe
know
they
if they're
can. Yeah,
retaining too many, but I think this is the year we'll see them move off of Ristolainen at this upcoming 2026 trade deadline. And then, like you said, Travis Sanheim is a really solid piece. I think Cam York has top pairing potential, and maybe Drysdale figures something out under a new coach. So maybe a
yeah,
goalie and a center just for the short term, but not too much to do for Philly. Just a little bit of a painful, long rebuild track here, but I don't hate the position they're in. I think they'll still be really competitive. I like how with all these young pieces, they're still able to compete in games, and they're not an easy 2 points, which I think is fun.
yeah. And I think that's kind of what they need to look for is they're going to lose a lot of games next year, but they're going to be in a lot of games until the end. And I think that was kind of what they were this year. That's what they were last year. I think you're kind of looking at the same season here. The biggest, again, I talked about it when we talked about the John Tortorella firing. I like to see them go hire a coach that nobody's ever heard of. And if you're not going to do that, go hire Jay Woodcroft. That's where I'm at with this team. If you're going to bring in a coach, go take the bold swing and bring in somebody from college or from the Canadian Hockey League that nobody knows, or Jay Woodcroft. Like those are my two options for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you
Um,
100%. I don't think you
yeah,
can bring in a traditional coach and expect to get some sort of development or results. I mean, unless Matvey Michkov comes out and has like a 90, 100 point season, we might be having a different conversation
yeah,
a year from now. But a lot of things have to align. The stars have to
yeah.
align kind of like they did for the Habs this year.
Mm-hmm. And even then, like Montreal went out and signed Martin St. Louis, who obviously was a household name because of a player, but he was coaching like U13 hockey before that. So, like, go do something like that. Go take a swing. I think we need to see more fresh blood in the NHL. Fresh blood in terms of coaching. Obviously, Martin St. Louis is an NHL veteran who's in the Hall of Fame, but you know what I mean. The nepotism's still there, but it's just in a different way with Martin St. Louis, and that's what's kind of fun. Uh, so the boys' club exists, but just a little bit different, and that's okay. Yeah, so Philly fixed. Did we do it? Is that
We didn't
is
really
that
do
the conclusion?
anything, but yeah.
Yeah. Just don't do just Dan over air, just go take a nice vacation for a couple months. That's get yourself a head coach, maybe a goalie, um, like a fourth line winger, and then take a nice vacation.
And
There you
draft
go.
well, please.
Yes. You've been good drafting so far. I haven't hated Philly's drafts, so just pick somebody else good. this year. It's not a great draft, so good luck with that. But I believe in you. Yeah, there you go. Philly's fixed. That's it. That one was easy. That's probably the easiest team we're going to do the whole season. Except for maybe whoever wins the cup. But even then, maybe they have a ton of contracts. Philly might be the easiest team. Moving on to a team that's significantly less easy and in a far more complicated position. We have the Boston Bruins. Clearly, I don't think I need to ask you how this season went for the Bruins, because clearly it was disappointing. This is not the team that I thought was going to finish last in the Atlantic this year. It's not the team I thought was going to finish 15th in the Eastern Conference this year. But here we are. The Boston Bruins. What a fall from grace it's been for this team. And where do you go from here? I guess is the big question, because like clearly this was a disappointing season. There's no two ways around that. So what do you do?
If you want to talk about the fiery hell's mediocrity, that is the Boston Bruins right now. Oh man, it's so tough because you have guys like David Pastrnak, Charlie McAvoy in the prime of their careers, 27, 28 years old, locked up till 2030 for the next 5 years, and are arguably two of the best players at their positions. You have Jeremy Swayman in net after all the negotiation this summer, finally get a deal done. And he even went out and signed free agents like Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov, two long contracts for the next 5, 6 years. And they're old and overpaid. And then you also have some good young pieces too, right? You have Casey Middlestat's here now, even though he's struggled. He did okay in his time in Boston. And you have the emergence of Morgan Geekie, who's 26 years old, needs to be paid. So they're just all over the place in terms of age and timeline. And this is like the definition of we thought we were going to be good this year, and we're just writing names in the roster labels to play hockey to finish these last 20 games because, wow, it's just all over the place. Although I do give them credit because they did sell at the trade deadline, and I admire that a ton when you can realize that, okay, this ship has sunk, we're done.
Yeah,
And they did get some nice returns. So I don't even know where to start. Like everything's just so all over the place. And next year's not going to be any better because Ottawa
no,
and Montreal are going to get better. Florida's not going anywhere. Neither is Toronto. Neither is Tampa
yeah.
after the
Who
moves
knows
they've
what
made.
Buffalo's gonna do?
Like you're missing the playoffs next year. So
Probably, yeah. Like,
I don't know.
I think this whole thing started um the year that they uh finished first in the East, and they lost to the Panthers in the first round. Like nobody thought they were going to be a playoff team that year. Like everybody looked at that roster and was like, this roster is not very good. And then the goaltending went crazy, and the defense was really good, and uh, the offense scored a bunch of goals. Like Pastrnak was crazy. And I think that year kind of hurt this team because it gave them this false sense of hope that there was still life in the core, right? Like the post Bergeron era was going to be fine. Like everything was going to be okay. And they just kept trying to patch holes in this team instead of understanding that the team wasn't very good. And that's kind of where, and this is the thing, right? People will say, well, they finished first in the East, they were great. It's like, okay, but like a lot of that was due to things that were not going to be repeatable, and or were very likely to be not repeatable. That's where teams can get into trouble, especially for teams that have had as much success as Boston's had over the last 20 years. And you just kind of, and the same thing happened to Detroit when they were holding on to their playoff streak. And we've seen the ramifications of that. I mean, Detroit still hasn't made the playoffs since then. So you really need to understand when it's time to turn the lights out and reset. And Boston kind of just did that 2 years late. And now they're in a situation where they really don't have any prospects coming up. They have one of the worst prospect pools in the league. They have, Pastrnak, McAvoy, and Swayman, but really not much else around them. And you're kind of just stuck in this weird spot where, like, how do you fix it? Because, like, the real answer is you wait 5 years until you can refill your prospect pool. But by that point, like Pastrnak and McAvoy aren't going to be in their prime of their careers anymore. So like, I, is there a world where you have a conversation about trading one of those two? Like, is that where we are? Because
Yes, you could have that conversation, but
like, and Boston fans are going to hate that. But the reality, like, the situation is this: like, either A, you go out in free agency this year and you throw however much money you can at Mitch Marner and you just try to fix the problem, or you rip it apart. Like, you can't run this back for another 3 seasons. It's just not going to work. You're going to finish incredibly mediocrely. You're not going to have, like, you're going to have to wait for these prospects to come up because whoever they draft this year isn't going to be on the team probably for like at least another year or two, and probably won't have an impact for 3. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you do here other than you have those hard conversations, and Boston won't, and the fans don't want to because like we saw what happened when they traded Brad Marchand away. Like they almost rioted in the streets. So like I don't know what you do, but like I think you kind of just have to tear it apart. But that's not realistic for what the Bruins are going to do.
maybe you just keep selling smaller pieces. Like a guy like Pavel Zacha seems expendable to me.
So you
We'll
do the
have 2
Pittsburgh
years
Penguins thing.
left,
So you be the Pittsburgh Penguins over the last 3 years.
pretty much. I mean, I'd
Okay, cool.
imagine.
Like no, but
Like
like I'm not trying to like that's probably what they do. Like I'm not disagreeing, but like that's what you'll become. You'll just be what Pittsburgh's been the last 3 years. Like that's the model, but with a younger Pastrnak and McAvoy instead of an old Crosby and Malkin.
I think that's the direction it goes. To be honest with you, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, I think so too.
they'll keep bringing in like these young players like Rat Kuznetsov, right? And they'll keep trying to plug pieces in, try and find that magic fix, kind of like Pittsburgh brings in project players like Phil Tomasino, all those
Yep.
guys, Cody Glass, and they just try and build around Crosby and just play it out. I just feel like that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Um,
It's bleak. Like it's not good.
like you
I
can't
wouldn't
get
be.
rid of Zadorov.
You can't move Zadorov. You can't really move Lindholm.
No.
Either one. Hampus or Elias.
But you also
Um,
have to ask the question, could this team even make the playoffs? Like if with the healthy decor and good play from Jeremy Swayman and Pastrnak, who Pasternak's Pastrnak, he's arguably the best winger in the league. Like
like I mean, things obviously you can get lucky, but like if you took this team fully healthy next year, like this, they just run this roster back. I probably have them finishing like third last in the East, maybe fourth last. Like I don't think like Philly's probably worse. The Islanders might be worse, but who knows what Buffalo's going to be? But like other than that, I mean, like maybe Columbus regresses, but like is this team better than like stop me when I say a team that like is definitively worse than Boston.
all right.
Toronto, Tampa Bay, Florida, Carolina, New Jersey, Washington, the Rangers, the Canadiens.
The rain it depends on what the Rangers do and if Artemi Panarin plays
Sure,
next
but
year.
they run this roster back. Are you going to take the Bruins to finish higher than the Rangers next year?
I mean, maybe like I feel like that's a close one. Like I don't
Okay,
know how good the Rangers are
so
next
that's
year.
ninth. We're talking about the ninth seed in the Eastern Conference at that point. Ottawa.
No, I think Ottawa will be better than
You didn't say Montreal. I'd probably take the Canadiens over the Bruins next
yeah,
year.
that the Rangers in Montreal are a toss up for me. I could
Yeah,
see if they were to finish below, I'd be like, I could see it in a
that's fair.
world,
Yeah,
but I doubt it will
that's
happen.
fair. So either way, that's the ninth seed because Ottawa would be 8.
Yeah,
So like that's what we're talking. Like then you have like Detroit, who's probably a toss up in that as well. Um,
oh, Detroit's even worse than Bruins, I'd argue. Oh,
yeah, but I mean at least you have Lucas Raymond and Mort Seider. So
true.
Marco Casper had a decent season this year too, and you have 2 really good prospect goalies coming up. So like there's pieces there that like Detroit can grasp onto. Like Boston's been grasping onto Fabian Lysell for the last 3 years, and here we are, right? Like and I liked Fabian Lysell out of the draft. This isn't like meant to be a shot at him, but like he was the blue chip prospect this team had for the last 3. Where in 2025 we're heading into 2026 and we've yet to see anything substantial from him in the NHL. So like, you look around and it's like, okay, so like on paper, running this back, we're probably the at best 9th best team in the league if we're fully healthy, and everybody else is fully healthy. So now you're just hoping that somebody gets hurt in one of those 8 teams, and like that's not a strategy.
No, it's not a strategy. It's just such an awkward position. It really is.
I don't know, like where you go for. Like I really don't know where you go from here. Like I think the conversation has to be had about trading one of the two, in Pastrnak or McAvoy. I don't think they'll have that conversation. I'm pretty sure both have no move clauses anyway. But like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what you do. I don't have a fix. I don't have like a go sign this guy and everything will be okay. Like I don't think they should sign anybody this summer. But like I think they should move people away. I think an ideal offseason for this team is you put David Pastrnak on the market and you take the insane offer that somebody gives you for him, and you reset the deck for the next 5 years, and you turn into what the San Jose Sharks have been over the last like 3 seasons. Like that's what you do. That is the game plan. But they're not going to do that.
And I think too, now's the time that we've seen the narrative prevail. We saw that Colorado and Carolina were able to move off Mikko Rantanen and be very successful. Like there's a world where this could work, and this is a conversation that can be had in the modern NHL with the way front offices and superstar players are handled.
Yeah,
Colorado's way better off right now.
David Pastrnak's going to want to sit through 4 more years of this?
No,
I wouldn't. Right? Like I don't know.
He could sit there and tell the Boston media he does all he wants, but deep down we know he doesn't. No player wants to sit through that.
Nobody. Like at least if you're sitting through, like, if David Pastrnak was on the 2025 San Jose Sharks right now, like there are things you could look at and be like, okay, this is fine. Like we are going to turn a corner. We have our franchise piece in Macklin Celebrini. We have Will Smith. We have Sam Dickinson coming up. We have another high pick this year. We have a bunch of cap flexibility. Boston doesn't have any of those things. Like
they have
none of
zero
those
cap.
like this team has no money. They have no blue chip prospect. They have no crazy like pick stash. They don't have much of a prospect pool. Like there's nothing here to latch onto. If I'm a David Pastrnak, I'm looking around and I'm like, what do I like? What are we doing?
You want to know something that's really funny?
Yes.
Please. They have $750K in cap space.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 big players they need to sign this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Pastrnak's one good line mate this year, Morgan Geekie, and Mason Lohrei, who is one of their upcoming defensemen.
Yeah,
the two of them made a combined $2.9 million this season. You think those players are taking less than 2.9 together?
What's their cap space for next year? Sorry. Or is that for this? That what they have left this year? Because that might be just what they have left this year.
They have only $750K left right now, and Geekie makes $2 million a year. Lohrei's at $925 on his ELC, but there's no money to afford these guys. Like, yeah, the cap's going up.
I see what you mean. Yeah, like they're gonna have more than 750, like in money to spend, but like they're not gonna like combined between the two of them. They're gonna take less than it. Like they're gonna want more than 750K raise between the two of them.
Yeah,
I misunderstood.
And I know the cap's going up a couple million, but Morgan Geekie had 30 goals this year. He's not taking less than $4 or $5 million.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's like $5 million player. So that's three of your $5 million of the cap going up right there. And you throw the other 2 with Mason Lohrei. Okay, cool. Now we're running back the same team. Now what?
Exactly.
Like, okay.
What do you do?
Like, I guess you trade Pavel Zacha and you get the 4.75 off the books, but then it's like,
maybe you flip Casey Middlestat. Maybe.
Yeah, but then it's like, then who's your second line center? Like, that's the problem, right? It's like, yeah, we could trade Casey Middlestat all we want, but then who's centering the second line? If we trade Pavel Zacha, who's centering the third? Like they don't like I don't know. I genuinely don't know what you do with this team. Like, genuinely, an ideal offseason for this team is trading David Pastrnak and just blowing it up. Like, that's the ideal offseason. And it won't happen. There's not a world where that happens. But, like, if any Bruins fans in the comments, please let us know what the bright side is to keeping this team together. Like, is it because, like, let's say perfect world next year, right? Perfect world next year, the Bruins finish in a wild card spot. Cool. How many rounds are you winning?
0.
How, like, what's the percentage chance? Let's say you win a round. What's the percentage chance that you win a Stanley Cup next year? 0. Maybe you get lucky and you win a round. You get a good draw in the first round, right? The year after that, you make a wild card spot again. Congratulations. Now what? That's like what's the point? Like, you're the Vancouver Canucks in the late 2010s. Like, those
You're
are your two
looking,
options. You're either
yeah.
keeping this team together. At best, you're the Canucks in the late 2010s. At worst, you're the Pittsburgh Penguins today. Like, those are that's your the situation.
It's
You're
like
at one of those two extremes.
moderate floor, no ceiling
Yeah,
whatsoever.
those are the two options. You're the 2018 Vancouver Canucks or the 2025 Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, that's the group. And I wouldn't want to be in anywhere near those two teams. But
Yeah.
trade David Pastrnak. That's the ideal offseason. It won't happen, but, like, that's it. That's how you solve the problem. Rip it apart. You started at the deadline this year. Like, which gives me hope that, like, they see that this team's not good. But I'm concerned that they're going to go out and they're going to spend money on a bunch of guys who they shouldn't spend money on, and then they're going to take, like, the Seattle Kraken approach to it, and they're going to sign, like, a Chandler Stevenson and call it a day.
They can't even afford it, though.
You
can't be stupid with money you can't spend.
That's true. So I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't. I don't know what to do. Trade David Pastrnak. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's it. That's the option.
Now, if we're on the topic of Pastrnak, where is a fit? Where does he fit ideally for you?
I mean, anywhere, really. Like, realistically.
I think that'd be fun.
Like, yeah, like, you're arguably the best winger in the league. You can go anywhere. I think, I mean, like, Colorado would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know who has a ton of draft capital and assets that they could and needs a scoring winger?
I was hoping Anaheim went after him.
Oh no, I got a better one. The Carolina Hurricanes.
That's not gonna work. Please no.
But just think about it. Like, the one thing the Hurricanes need is a pure scorer. And they have so many, like, they get outbid every team in the NHL with their picks and prospect pool.
I just think any player that archetype doesn't fit with the system.
I don't care, just do it. Branton would have figured it out. Like, the PDO would have figured it out. He's good enough.
Washington's even better than him.
Exactly. Like, and you have years to figure it out. You don't have 14 games. You have so much time to get him to fit. Just throw David Pastrnak in there.
I was imagining him
throw over to Carolina, though.
I was imagining him going to a team like Anaheim. They have
That'd be
some
fun.
capital there, and then you make him like the face of the franchise. Even a team like this would go in LA. Does LA go out and get that solidified number one?
Yeah, I mean, they were in on
Renton.
it depends on how much they want to move Byfield, right? Like, that's kind of the thing. Like, are they actually willing to move Byfield? Because that's what it would take, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Like, what's the Ducks package look like? It's Zegras and a bunch of other stuff, because Zegras' value sucks right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it Zegras, McTavish, and a pick? Like, is that the package?
Probably. I'd imagine.
Like, I'd assume so, because I don't think McTavish's value is as high as it was coming out of his rookie year. Like, I'd assume it would be those two in a pick.
You can give him Beckett Seneca too.
I mean,
They take a flyer on that.
based on how high the Ducks took him, I don't think the Ducks want to move him.
True.
Like they reached on him, and that tells me that like they really like him.
Maybe
And I
he'll
feel
be
like you
pretty
could
good.
do. I feel like you might even be like, if you put Seneca in there, you're not moving McTavish. But like, does
I don't
that
know. I
like?
just
I don't know. LA is fun. Um, they'd have to figure out how to make the money work. Like I'd assume like there'd have to be a bunch of pieces like moving around in that deal. Um, aside from just Byfield, because it would be Byfield, because Byfield was the guy for in the Renton trade. So like, I don't know why it wouldn't be.
where else? I had an imagine a Bruins send him out west. To be honest with you,
Oh yeah, no, they're not going to send him to Carolina. He's going to go to the West. I don't hate Colorado. I just don't know if Colorado has the assets to move him, to move for him. I don't know. I mean, like, could you see a team like the Wild taking like some crazy swing?
probably not,
I just don't
unless it
think
was
that's
like a.
in like
It's just not a very
like they have the
Minnesota thing to
pieces though.
do.
Like they have the prospect. They have the prospect capital to potentially make it work. I mean, Seattle has the prospect capital, but like I can't see them doing it.
No.
San Jose, I think, is too far. Utah?
Okay. I think Utah, LA, or Anaheim are the three teams I could see doing it.
Yeah, I think that seems like a good group. Utah would be fun. Utah seems like Ryan Smith seems like the owner that would do it too.
Yeah, you get
Like
like Keller.
he'd be like, yeah, let's screw it, let's do it. Like
You get
let's give them PG Ginla, um, I don't know, like one of our younger guys, maybe like Josh Doan and a pick and something
wow.
else.
You just threw away the two legends of the Utah Hockey Club that like are
Yeah, do
there
it, screw it, I
because
don't care. PG Ginla can go play where his dad played, where his legendary career Jarome Ginla was in Boston. It's perfect.
I don't think Doan gets moved just for the whole Arizona Shane Doan thing, but
I guess, but like, who cares? Shane Doan's in Toronto now. It doesn't matter. Like,
TJ Ginla, yeah, I think goes in the package.
yeah,
Nick Schmaltz, I think
there has
goes
to be
the
a
other way.
player.
Seems like
Yeah,
someone Boston would want to make the
yeah.
money work.
Well, and then Pasternak replaces Schmaltz in the top six anyway, so
Yeah.
like that's fine.
And then
Like, what's Utah running right now? Like, what is their? Because there's probably another roster player going back to. Yeah,
maybe like
Schmaltz makes sense.
Kerfoot, maybe, or
Yeah, he could
Lawson
play. I
Krause.
mean, yeah,
Lawson Krause definitely seems like a Boston guy.
yeah. I could see like Kraus, Schmaltz, a Ginla, and a first round pick.
I think you need more, to be honest.
Do you have any like defensive prospects?
Oh, Michelli. How about Michelli?
Sure. Yeah, why not? I'm cool with that. I'd be cool with that if I'm Utah. I think Utah's a playoff team next year.
Michelli,
That definitely makes them a
Krause,
playoff team.
Schmaltz, and Iginla in the first for Pasta, I think is very fair.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Cool. I'm
And
down
then
with
you
that.
get a top six. You got Keller, you got Hayton, you got Gunther,
Yeah,
Cooley,
Keller, Cooley,
Pasternak.
Pashanak. Maybe you sign somebody. Like
You put
you
Josh
sign
Doan
a
in the second line. Yeah.
yeah, you sign a winger. Like you'd have to bring in somebody else too. Maybe you can get somebody from
Yeah.
bought. Maybe you take on like Zaka too. Just just to help them clear cap. Like I don't know if the cap
Yeah.
would work, but maybe you
Bottom
do that.
six, you got Kerfoot, Jack McBain, Kevin Stenlund, Bukestad, Carcone. They're
That's a good
fine
team.
there.
That's a really good team. I like this. Send Passion to Utah. Book it. We just fixed the Utah Hockey Club too, by the way.
Yeah, and then defense, right? Right. I mean, a full clean slate of health for Dursey and Marino. You got Sergachev there.
Yeah, God, that team would be so good. Connor Ingram
Ingram
fully
and
healthy.
and
Like, yeah,
Vijamelka played great this year too, even though
yeah.
they
I guess
paid him a
Yamamoto's still
crap
there too.
ton.
I like Kyle
Yeah,
Yamamoto.
him.
He could,
Yeah, he
yeah,
can be bottom six
he can be bottom
forward.
six. Yeah, he can be a third liner. He can replace
And then
Michelli. I'm cool with that.
who's
Run
missing on this blue line? Oh no, this
uh
blue line's set. They also got
Sergachev, Marino, Cole, Dursey, Kessler,
Valimaki's the
Yamada.
guy I'm
That's right.
thinking of.
Yeah, Valimaki. No, that's a good team.
Kesselring had a great year.
Yeah, that's a good team. I'm good with that. We just fixed the Utah Hockey Club indirectly in this video too. So there you go.
Wow,
I'm gonna put
great
that.
work.
I'm putting that in the title because I like literally like looking. I mean, Utah is gonna be a ways away, but like screw it. Like looking at this team, like I don't know what else like that seems like the thing to do.
So then when we do fixing the Utah Hockey Club, we'll just say the David Pastrnak trade from the Boston episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
Should we have
obviously we'll do an actual deep dive on Utah, but like
should we do like a mock off season, like where we have like a simulation of ours where we can only pick one location for each team, for each player rather.
Yeah, I'm
so instead of just spamming the same players,
post about it at the end of the year. Like once we're done all these, we'll go through and be like that was my favorite thing that we did, and then but David Pastrnak to Utah is the move. Screw LA and Anaheim. I don't care about those two. Like Utah's too much fun.
Yeah. So like
God, now so much fun. That team would be sick.
Every player we've used now in the Pastrnak trade cannot be discussed in fixing any other team. So the Nick Schmaltz to Nashville narrative is gone.
Yeah.
So it'd be like that.
We'll go through everything. Yeah. We'll go through everything and we'll do that. We'll make a big post about it at the end. Like
I think it'd be fun. We take like maybe 5-10 big trades that we think could fix or signings, like the top 10 UFAs.
Yeah, big signings.
Couple offer sheets.
I like that.
There you go. You're learning about what we do on the fly. So
there you go. Yeah, that's inside baseball right there for the people listening. But I really like that. I really like Pastrnak. It's never gonna happen, but I really like David Pastrnak to Utah. I want
what if we just start posting about it? What if we just start like I know it's the middle of the first round, but what if we just start like spamming Pastrnak to Utah like on Twitter?
We just start like the firestorm in the media.
It's the middle of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Both these teams are not competing, but we just start posting like Pastrnak with the Utah logo behind his face or something like that.
They can make trades, I think, in like the third round, right? Like that's when the trade freeze is over.
Yeah.
Technically, they can make trades now. They just can't play because you can make trades anytime. They just can't play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Omar was getting traded during the final.
Yeah, I mean, this trade could happen tomorrow.
Omar got traded during the final, didn't he? Right after.
Thomas Malkoun got traded in the final a couple years ago. Not a couple years ago, years ago from Nashville to Pittsburgh. He was traded during the third round, actually.
Yeah, and Omar last year.
Yeah, he was traded in the finals. So this trade could happen now if they wanted it to. I think it should. Well, there's like bonuses and stuff that would have to get paid out, so it probably wouldn't happen yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Let's start the rumor about David Pastrnak to Utah.
So for this post, for the cover art of this post, make sure it's David Pastrnak with the Utah logo behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll be the thumbnail. We'll be fixing the Bruins and that'll be the only picture, and it'll be fixing the Bruins and the Flyers. We talked about Philly today too, by the way. We didn't do anything to the Flyers. They're running the same team back.
Went from a very uneventful Flyers team to a very interesting scenario for the Bruins.
Yeah, but I like it though. It makes so much sense. Like that would help Boston out so much, and it would help Utah. Like it helps both teams find a direction. I don't know. It won't happen. Boston's going to go out and they're going to sign nobody, and they're going to be the 12th best team in the East next year. And everybody's going to hate them, but that's okay. Anyway, I think we fixed the Boston Bruins.
The best of our abilities. I don't have anything
else to add about the playoffs or anything, but other than that, I think we're good to get out of here.
Enjoy the games. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, there should be some good games. I think there's 4 games today on Monday?
4,
yeah. And then I think 4 on Tuesday as well. So yeah, things are fun. I love the first round. It's just constant. It's 4 games every day. It's awesome. But thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday. We're back to the normal schedule, and then I don't know, maybe we'll do like a second round emergency episode again when that starts. We'll see.
Feels necessary.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But thank you for listening and watching, and make sure you follow us on Instagram as well as YouTube, where you can see the full video as well, or you can listen on Apple and Spotify. So thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next week.